Greetings, pledges. Today's lesson is about weight blindness and how some of you are mistaking progress for arrival. You lost 30 pounds and thought you were thin. You're a size 6 in a country of size 18s and think that makes you elite. It doesn't. But don't worry, your big sister is here to help you recalibrate. Now grab a seat and maybe a tape measure. So there's nothing on TV, and I happen upon this show. It's a reality show, but the lead character is incredibly overweight, and she's approaching 40, she's morbidly obese, and she's talking about wanting to find a man, and at the same time coming to terms with the fact that she might not be a mother. And so I'm just sitting here thinking, like, this woman is delusional. And this has to be a conversation about weight blindness, where the body that someone is living in is dangerously out of sync with the future that they claim that they want. You can't see how far you've drifted from basic biological capacity because you've been normalized into dysfunction. Everyone tells you that you're beautiful, but no one tells you that you're unwell. Fertility is not just a mindset. Hormones don't care how you feel. PCOS doesn't just go away because you declared yourself empowered. If you really wanted that baby, you'd be fighting for your body back. You'd be eating for function, not feelings. The body positivity movement has overcorrected to the point of coddling. And this is not the video that I was going to release today. I did an entirely separate video on the body positivity movement, but I felt like I need to wait until after we get out of this retrograde before I release it, just to be safe. We are living in a time where truth-telling is considered an act of violence, but you're not helping a woman by lying to her. You're helping her stay stuck. There is image distortion that comes from curated reality. Algorithmic body positivity has created a phantom mirror. Every fifth video is a 300-pound woman in a bikini being told, "You're stunning, you're glowing." And for some women, it literally rewires their internal metric system. They stop seeing obesity as excess and they see it as expression. And here's the kicker. They start thinking that you're too thin, that your reality is distorted. There is a cognitive rejection of diagnostic reality. If they accept that they're fat, they also have to accept that they've shrunk their own dating pool, that pregnancy is riskier or unlikely, that their clothes don't fit because of them, not the brand, that their health is declining. But it's easier to believe the lie that you're just built different than to accept that you're in a compromised state. So they redefine fat as bigger than me. Words like curvy, thick, and plus size are now aspirational, not descriptive. A woman who's 5'2" and 240 pounds will say, "I'm not fat, I'm just thick. I carry it well. I'm proportioned." They have invented layers of euphemism to avoid saying the word obese, not because they're sensitive, but because acknowledging it would require action. Someone who is 240, 300, 400 pounds and doesn't think they're obese has severed their connection between appearance, mass, and consequence. And they've had to, because the truth would collapse their whole identity. They know what obese looks like until it's in their own mirror. Then suddenly it's confidence or genetics or big bones or body diversity. And then there's the next layer of delusion. It's not just weight blindness, but it's weight minimization. They'll admit something's off, but only by a little. They'll say, "I just want to lose 40 pounds, when they're 120 pounds over a functional body weight. They are trying to self-correct without self-confronting. They will say things like, "I don't want to be skinny, I just want to be healthy. I'd love to get back to the weight I was after college," which was still obese. And they are setting emotionally manageable goals, not physiologically relevant ones. Because saying I need to lose 100 pounds is terrifying. It implies years of mismanagement. It suggests that you failed slowly and publicly. So instead, they'll revise their numbers to protect their ego. A woman who is 5'4" and 260 pounds will say, "I just want to get to 200. But 200 is still obese. That is still high blood pressure, limited fertility, inflammation, knee pain, and a shorter lifespan. So why do you want to stop there?" But we have to talk about weight blindness for the quote-unquote slim girl. Because weight blindness doesn't just show up at 300 pounds. It shows up at 135, 125, and even 115. For some women, and I talked about this in Patreon, but just because you're thinner than most doesn't mean you're thin. There are women who are slimmer than the average American woman, and because of this, they believe that they are the thin standard. These women are comparing themselves to women who are objectively overweight instead of looking upstream towards actual thinness. Instead of being blind to how large they've become, like the obese woman, these women are blind to how much further thinness actually goes. I've got women in my comments leaving their specs, and it's interesting because it's like, "Babe, you're not thin. You're just the skinniest one in your friend group, your workplace, or your small town." That's not a flex, that's a filter. You have confused being small in proximity with being small in absolute terms, and it has created a fantasy of thinness that doesn't hold up in real rooms. I've got girls in my comments telling me that they eat 2,000 plus calories a day and they have Bella Hadid's body type. No, babe, you have data dysphoria. You are describing your stats like they'll summon cheekbones. You are eating like a CrossFit dad trying to convince me that you look like a Parisian model. You're not a runway model. You're a medium-sized woman with internet access. Being the smallest woman in your family, friend group, or Midwest town doesn't make you model adjacent. It makes you domestically above average. You're not runway thin, you're Hobby Lobby thin. And that's okay, but let's not confuse the two. If you stood next to an actual model, you'd cry before the comparison finished loading. Being smaller than fat people doesn't make you thin, it makes you relatively safe. Thin girls aren't eating 2,300 calories a day. That's not maintenance, that's male-coded fiction. And stop confusing local compliments with global alignment. There are levels to thinness, and if you're a size 6 thinking you're the blueprint, you've got the wrong map because there are things available to the size 00 to size 2 woman that will never be offered to a size 6 or size 8, no matter how hot or curvy you think you are. These women believe that they're thin because they get compliments from their overweight friends, fit in Zara pants without crying, get some male attention, and have never had to shop at Lane Bryant. But they don't realize that they're still locked out of elite male attention, luxury spaces where the aesthetic baseline is model-coded, brand invites, and image-based career perks. Every woman who's ever dropped 10 to 20 pounds knows something has shifted. And just because your experience has changed with some weight loss does not mean that that's the ultimate in thin privilege. You're just experiencing not fat privilege. Thinness is not a moral category, it's a currency. And just because you have a few dollars doesn't mean you're rich. Weight blindness isn't just knowing you're overweight, it's settling at a weight that still isn't your final form because America told you it was good enough. You dropped 30 pounds, your face came back, compliments started rolling in, and instead of finishing the job, you unpacked your bags at not fat and called it thin. A size 6 isn't fat technically, but it's not thin. Aesthetically, it's the before in Paris, and it's the after in Idaho. It's middle management. Weight blindness sounds like, I feel good here. This is sustainable. I like having curves. I still fit in regular sizes. I don't want to be too thin. Translation, I settled the moment the discomfort stopped screaming. In the 90s, midsize meant size 6, size 8. Now it means size 16, size 18, because these morbidly obese girls stole the term to soften their own reality, and now women who were once in the middle have been shoved into skinny privilege territory just for not being fat. But if you think you're thin at a size 6, you are blind. You're not thin, you're smaller than most, and that's not the same thing. Size 6 is passing, size 4 is entry level, size 2 is industry acceptable, and size 0 is default. 00, elite. And you don't need to be a size 0, but you can't confuse a 6 for anything but an intermission. There is still an aesthetic hierarchy that exists. You lost 20 pounds and got called pretty, so you stopped. Meanwhile, another girl dropped 10 more and got invited. And there's a difference, okay? It's not just the number, it's the access. A lot of women use the "this is just where my body wants to be" as an excuse to stop trying. But no, sis, your body didn't plateau, your discipline did. Your set point is just the weight where you stop being uncomfortable enough to keep pushing. Set point does exist metabolically, but what's happening now is weaponized pseudoscience. Women will drop 25 pounds, hit a moment of internal resistance, aka boredom, hunger, or social discomfort, and then suddenly announce, "this is where my body wants to be." No, this is where your motivation ran out. It's not that your body wants to live at a size 6, it's that your discipline dipped just low enough to rationalize staying there. And you found a comfortable weight with decent compliments and you decided to spiritually rebrand it as destiny. But every woman who's ever kept going knows your set point is programmable, but only if you stop calling plateaus peace. There are things that you don't have access to at a size 6. High-level castings, luxury brand gifting, first pick dating, social deferral, universal sizing. Size 6 is respectable, yes, but it's not aspirational. That privilege threshold exists below it. And that's not about beauty, it's about weight class. A size 6 can be stunning, but she's still not first pick in the privilege economy. And she might not even know what she's missing because she's never seen what's possible. Some women confuse male attention with thin validation, but let's be honest, men will sleep with anything, and that doesn't mean you're thin, it means you're not repulsive. And that's not even true either. One of the biggest sources of confusion is using male attention as a scale. Men still hit on me at a size 10. I've never had trouble getting dates. That's not because you're thin, it's because you're available, and men, especially average men, will shoot their shot at anything warm and willing. These women will get cheated on, lose 30 pounds, call it their revenge body. But your revenge body is step one, because true vengeance is entering rooms that you've never even imagined when you were overweight. Don't stop at being hotter than the girl he cheated on. Stop when you're hotter than the girl he could never get. And we have to talk about the delusion of thick privilege. Instagram has lied to women with small waists and wide hips, and they think because they're proportioned that they're thin-coated. But proportion does not mean privilege. A girl with a snatched waist and big thighs may be visually appealing on Instagram, but in real life, she's often too large for luxury sizing, eligible for casting, and is taken less seriously in elite spaces. She's viewed as sexy but not stunning. And while curvy privilege is real, it's conditional, performative, and geographically limited. Try walking into a French boutique at a size 8 with hips. You will get vintage Dior silence. Thinness isn't a moment, it's a standard, and the only women who reach it are the ones who didn't stop when the world told them you're fine. They kept going because fine isn't finished. And I want to circle back to men once more because I find that this is always the reason that women use to justify being overweight. Being hit on isn't a flex, okay? Male attention is not the evidence of thinness, it's the evidence of availability. It's the evidence of being alive and vaguely willing. Men do not have aesthetic standards, they have opportunity thresholds. And for some of these men, these thresholds are shockingly low. We all know about the 600-pound life effect. The women on that show haven't seen their own feet since the Bush administration, and they still have live-in boyfriends who wipe between their folds and drive them to the buffet. So when I hear a larger woman say, I get hit on though, this has told us nothing about your weight and everything about male access addiction, because men will sleep with women they're not attracted to, will chase low-effort options to inflate their ego, and will compliment anyone who responds. A man liking you doesn't validate your thinness. It makes you responsive, visible, or nearby. Thinness is not measured by attention, it's measured by exclusion. The size 6 woman got halfway and thought her journey was over. She mistook distance from obesity for proximity to excellence, and no one's going to tell the size 6 woman this, especially not the women who already live in the world they want access to. There is more available to you than you've allowed yourself to imagine, but you won't get there if you keep calling a size 6 a success. Thin women are not going to tell you this. They don't want friction, and they also don't want to accidentally unlock you, because if you knew how much further you could go, that would make you competition. So they will compliment you for your bravery, clap for your before and after, and say you look great no matter where you stop. Meanwhile, they'll be maintaining their size 00 or continuing to shrink in silence. And the thin girls aren't lying to hurt you. They're lying to protect the gap, because once you know where it is, you might close it. If you're a size 6 or a size 8, you've made progress, but you're not done. You look better, but you don't look small. You're not fat, but you're not there. You're in a dress, but not in the room. You've stopped because people started clapping. But applause doesn't mean arrival, it just means visibility. If you want to be the standard, not the sympathy, keep going. And if the thin girls aren't saying it, I will. There's more. It's waiting, and it's yours. In America, size 6 is the illusion of thinness. But in Paris, it's a bulk size. If a size 6 woman stood next to a Parisian model, she'd look like her older cousin, the before photo, or the stylist. Certainly not the subject, because true thinness doesn't start until a size 2. And size 6, while still small in the American chaos grid, is nowhere near elite. There are so few thin women in America that anyone not obese is considered small. So size 6 becomes the local maximum, the wow, you look great finish line, the end of concern, but also the end of evolution. But in Europe, especially Paris, you are not thin. You are average. You are bigger. You are not seated first. And if you doubt it, book a flight to Paris and walk into a boutique wearing your American size 6 jeans and watch how quickly the illusion collapses. The thin club in America is tiny. It's exclusive. It's soft and it's quiet. And we're having an incredible time because the gap between us and everyone else is massive. Members of the thin club don't need to be the hottest in the room. They just need to be rare. And that's the secret. Being thin isn't just about beauty, it's about scarcity. And what happens if all the size 6 girls get serious? Chaos, competition, and threat. This is why size 0s and 2s are supportive of your weight loss until you get close. Then they'll say, you look amazing. You don't need to lose any more. Don't go too far. You'll look sick. You're perfect right here. But what they mean is, stay cute, stay contained, and stay out of my category. Because the second you break through size 4, you'll start getting their perks, their access, their attention, and they know it. And your skinny friends, they don't want you to be unhealthy. They don't want you to be obese. They just want you to stay out of range. And size 6 is the perfect buffer. You're attractive enough to feel good, but not threatening enough to disrupt the hierarchy. You stopped at a size 6 because they started clapping. But clapping isn't always support. Sometimes it's containment disguised as congratulations. And the women living at size 0, they hope you never figure that out. If you want to stop confusing applause for arrival, if you want access, not just acceptance, if you want to know what the thin girls aren't saying out loud, you know where to go. Join the Patreon or stay mid-size and motivational. Your call.